us.
Always. All right, listen. Let me see if I can. Why? What?
The answer is yes, or God is taking care of us.
God is taking care of us.
Okay.
I'm being a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be Ghanaian.
Well, it looks like Ghanaians are big fans of corruption. The corruption and bribery reports by Statistical Services and Shraj, fascinating stuff. We'll be getting into it shortly.
Brilliant.
But first,
let's get to a Drive Safe campaign brought to us by Joy News and the Multimedia Group and supported by Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Toyota Superior Quality, and Imperial General Assurance Solid Protection. So the tip for today is that children and animals have a habit of suddenly popping out from between parked vehicles and into roadways. If you're driving in a residential area with kids present, watch carefully and slow down. And that's how to drive safe.
All right, then let's learn how to say it right. Brought to us by the Koba Payment app. Koba, Our Lives Simplified, and Kingdom Books at Kingdom Quality and Affordability are our hallmarks. We'll bring you Say It Right shortly. But first, listen, let's get into these corruption issues. So the report was done by Ghana Statistical Service in collaboration with Shraj. They discovered that the Ghana Police Service, they are ranking quite high when it comes to the taking of bribes.
So among the bribe payers, there was an average of 5 times in the 12-month period preceding the data collection. So basically, among those who are paying bribe, they do it 5 times within a calendar year. So the per capita for bribe payment is 0.98. If you put that on our adult population in the country, you can simply extrapolate that bribe is more than 17.4 million in the country in 2021. We're going to monetize this in the next few slides. Again, we see very slight variations between urban and rural areas. We move on to the second component on who takes bribe. And here we look at it from the institutional perspective. Among police, among Ghana Immigration Service, and among the Ghana Revenue Authority are the top 3 institutions that the incidence of bribery, payment of bribe, was the highest, with the police service recording 53.2%, distantly followed by Ghana Immigration Service 37.4%, and the Ghana Revenue Authority 33.6%.
Hey, immigration for, police for, GRE for.
You know, there's an interesting
Lands
part
Commission.
in all of this, where, I mean, these are people that take bribes more, but people that take the highest bribe, the Lands Commission leading it, and the other guys coming on board.
Imagine. In terms of amounts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then we heard from a man who used to be a police officer, number one, bribe takers. Not him in particular, but has now become an elected government representative, and they actually came at the bottom of the list of bribe takers. Peter Lanchini-Tubu, this is what he had to say about it.
Look at the fact that this position of Ghana Police has been number 1 on the Corruption Perception Index, running for many years. And the fact that the Ghana Police Service mirrors society, it is very correct for you to say that the Ghanaian society seems endemically corrupt. And the police will have to mirror it because the police do have the power to enforce laws. And in a society where people are not willing to be law-abiding, they are always tempted to bribe the police. So we have something we call public-induced police corruption. And the public are so quick to induce corruption because they are not willing to be law-abiding. Irrespective of the fact that you will find that the police will remain on top of the chart. The truth of the matter is that it is a perception that has to do with numbers. But if it has to do with quantum, I'm not sure that the police will come anywhere closer even to the first 10. It tells us that as a country, we have a problem. And the problem has been mirrored clearly by the police.
Yeah, Peter Lanchini-Tubu there. We also heard from a Supreme Court Judge, Justice Kulendi. Now, he actually laid it out. He explained why corruption is a problem. He said that it undermines fairness and equity in society. It also upsets national security in the country. Let's hear him.
And trust that I can count on your cooperation to ensure a successful launch of a significant research in our efforts to persuade ourselves of the prevalence of corruption, the most obvious insidious threat to our democracy, our development, and our national security. Distinguished guests, I can say without fear of contradiction that the threat posed by corruption to our future is so obvious and frightening that we cannot afford to pretend about its prevalence in spite of some very laudable efforts at mitigating the scourge, which is practically invading every facet of our lives. If we fail to prevail in our fight against corruption, it is fast draining the public purse, is creating barriers to economic development, decreasing effectiveness and efficiency of public services, increasing transactional costs, undermining equity and fairness in our society, making nonsense of due process and law, eroding the legitimacy of government, and will ultimately bring down our democracy and upset our national security.
Ubia didi nejuma ho ana
The corruption emblem.
the corruption mutu.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at it. GRA, 33.6%. They're expected to be helping generate lots of revenue. And so these corrupt practices, how do they affect revenue generation? For me, is the most important thing, because some of these practices could actually, affect revenue generation. They could, do things which would hurt our ability to raise more funds and develop this country. I mean, it's good that Shraj has come up with this report, but it shouldn't just be a report and that's the end of it. How do we ensure that we're able to reduce corruption in these institutions?
I don't remember the last time I heard of anybody being prosecuted for being jailed for corruption recently. I don't recall anyone. It appears that there's a vacuum between what we talk about consistently about seeking to fight it and the reality of enforcing the very laws we've had over the period.
It would seem,
for example, I was suspecting that the relevant state institutions would have been reviewing what happened over the weekend at the NPP's conference and come out to tell that, oh, no corrupt act happened. Yes, so that we can move in the direction of being serious about it. Because if we are not picking up the people and dealing with properly,
it would seem that as a state, we are actually not really, it's not one of our priorities to punish corruption. It's kind of accepted. I was talking about how somebody said we should situate corruption in our cultural context. What a shameful thought. But, well, anyway, this document is very interesting. The Corruption in Ghana, People's Experiences and Views research done, sponsored by UNODC. Very, very interesting. Get yourself a copy if you can. Let's do the news review now, brought to us by Milo Energy to Go Further, Enterprise Life's Family Income Security Plan, Enterprise Your Advantage, and First Atlantic Bank. Refreshingly different.
Now, the BNFT is reporting this morning GNPC to go eco-friendly in exploiting resources, and clock is ticking on sustainability of the environment. Experts on the panel on environment sustainability summit are the ones saying so. There's a very interesting story. High Court halts payment on gas supply to ENI Vital, and that's also on the front page with startups turning recycled plastic into fashion. The story behind Romafik is also a very nice startup story on the front page. Government to fight Galamsey with speed boats. This is Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and the Honorable Deputy Minister Benito Owusubio has been telling us that we are going. In fact, historically, We tried with drones. It appears not to have worked. We deployed the military and all of that. But now, speedboats, you know how it goes. Yeah, the water body, so that because of the destruction of water bodies and all of that.
We tried with land, it didn't work. We tried in the air, it didn't work. So now we are going on the water.
Yeah, Navy action. Okay, that's BNFT anyway.
Well, let's get to the Daily Statesman. Tension at PSC Tema Shipyard. Workers fight illegal dismissals and interdictions. Lands Minister government will prudently use natural resources, and Tescon rescinds decision to suspend activities. NSS deepens collaboration with user agencies, and AFDB $27 million for emergency food production.
Now, the Daily Graphic is reporting Parliament approves around $150 million loan agreement, and sustaining Galamsey fight. Lands Ministry more to track excavators. Control room is ready, and $5 billion paid in bribes to public officials. That's what we were telling you earlier. Justice Emmanuel Yonikolendi is the one who launched the report that Kojo is holding. Yeah.
Well, the Daily Guide for this morning says Boga MP dashes to Supreme Court over witness. Yeah, that's how the Daily Guide captures it. Parliament approves $750 million for CAPEX. And Mill's brother fights Anidoho over grave. You spoke with him last night on Upfront. There's a lot of back and forth.
Shameful debacle. It sets my teeth on edge every time that thing comes up. Oh, God.
Government to inject $7 million into private forest plantations, and GTech reviews university entry requirements.
The very last paper I have is the Business Finder. Ghana to retain $2 billion each year through new mining local content policy.
And the Ghanaian Times says stopping mining on river bodies. Government acquires 5 patrol boats. You've talked about it. And 26.7 of adults paid 5 billion Ghana cedis bribe in 2021. Government statistician.
All right. The online review now brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. Are we able to go online? Oh.
Yes, before we do, Goyle, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making life so convenient for you. Goyle now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases at selected stations. Just remember to Momo it at Goyle. And that's not all. You can also use your bank card to buy fuel at Goyle, and this is made possible by APSA. Drive to Goyle stations now, buy your fuel, pay by Momo or a bank card, and you're good to go. Visit Goyle social media platforms: Facebook, Goyle.official, Instagram, Goyle_GH, and on Twitter, Goyle_official for more information on the service stations. You can conveniently use Momo. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle, Yaya deal.
Okay, can we go to myjoyonline.com? Yeah, there we go. Bibiani mine demonstration leaves 6 with gunshot wounds. That's worrying. Details on my journal line. CityNewsroom.com has SHS academic calendar will be restored to pre-COVID period by 2024, according to the Ghana Education Service. Liberia and the other partner nations have already done that. On BBC's homepage this morning, no intelligence that Putin is ill, according to the CIA chief, and that's all going on in the Eastern Bloc. All right then, time for the BBC.
Brought to us by Fidelity Bank, believe with us, and Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only brand new vehicles. Latest. Before he hired me, this is what he said. Krachi, my vehicles are my investment. It is a winning, now winning, and you buy any fuel apart from Goyle. Waboka, sign this undertaking.
But he was right?
Yes, and he's right. Goyle stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at